Here.
Baker,
Here.
Burrell.
What's going on with this?
Oh, mute yourself until you're Burrell. Oh, it's talking. Oh. Casper,
Here.
Cassieri,
Here.
Chase,
Here.
Crockett Hubbard,
Here.
Dean Shinbrock,
Here.
Fitzgerald, Blacks,
Here.
Fortner,
Here.
Foster,
Here.
Crickman, Gauthier David, Gauthier Lauren.
Here.
Oh, there you are, sorry.
Here.
Okay. Gustafson,
Here.
Hainline, Hanscom,
Here.
Jacomb,
Here.
Jones,
Here.
Katowski, Merritt. Perry is absent. Kristen Powers,
Here.
Shawn Powers,
Here.
Ray, Emily.
Here.
Oh, okay. Richards,
Here.
Jason Rusk,
Here.
Jill Rusk,
Here.
Starkley,
Here.
Stevenson,
Here.
Thomas,
Here.
Washington,
Here.
Watson.
I'm here.
Thank you. Wells,
Here.
Whitehouse,
Here.
Whitney,
Here.
and Ebbin,
Here.
and a new member, Jackie Kopp.
Here.
There we go. We have 33.
Thank you.
Welcome, Jackie.
Did I miss anyone?
Thank you.
Guess not. Okay, all set.
All right, so the first item is a moment of silence, and I would ask us all to hold in our hearts and thoughts all those who have passed from COVID or who are caring for those who have COVID. Could we have a salute to the flag? I'd like to ask Representative Wells to lead us. Representative Wells?
Here we are. And you would like?
Let's do a salute to the flag from everyone.
Oh,
You can
no.
lead the way, please.
Okay, I'll try to do this from memory. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
to the flag of the United
United
States of
America,
America
and
and
to
to
the
the
republic
republic
for which
for
is
which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
liberty and justice
for all.
they're heading off without me. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. You did a great job. It's not easy.
No, I think third grade was the last time I did that.
The next item on our agenda is approval of minutes from our March 10th meeting. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion from Shawn Power, from Representative Powers. Second from Representative Chase. Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve our March 10th meeting minutes. Are there any discussion or comments?
I request to make an amendment.
Representative Bailey?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so just to remind us, when you want to speak, just if you can raise your little
Yeah.
iconic hand, I'll call on you, but this is fine. If you don't have access to an iconic yellow hand or a different colored hand, then you can try waving in your video. Anyway, Representative Bailey, please make your motion.
Yes, thank you very much. This is for item J6, all the way at the bottom on page 13. J6, item J6 ends in the middle of page 13. And all the way at the bottom for the sale of the property. What I have is for Adams and Baker were yes, and Bailey was no.
Can you, J7, did you say?
Juliet 7, item Juliet, or I'm sorry, J6.
Okay.
Sorry.
The real
about that.
problem is there's more than one vote in there, so you have the First Amendment. You have an original motion, then you had a First Amendment, and then a Second Amendment. So
It was the final part, the final
Okay.
vote.
So the original motion made by Representative Washington was seconded by Representative Rusk, and that passed with 25 in favor and 8 opposed. Opposed were Adams, Baker, Gauthier, Gustafson, Perry, Thomas, Washington, and Ebbin, and 1 abstention. That's what the minutes showed, and I'll
Yes.
have to review them in order to make sure that that's correct.
Yes, and I have some amplifying information that'll help you out. It's at the point of the meeting of 3 hours, 14 minutes.
Oh, excellent. Okay, I will take a look at that, and the minutes will reflect that, and I'll let the body know.
Okay, and it was I was opposed for that. I was a no. Okay.
Yeah, I have to listen to it because there were 3 different votes, so I don't want you
Yeah,
to be
it was
confused
all the way at the last vote for the final.
Mhm. Okay, I was actually, I'll have to look at it because I wasn't at that meeting. I was at the meeting, but never mind. I'll look at it for you.
Thank you.
No problem.
I just had a few points on page 6 and the last 2 bullets under reception of communications. There are 2 typos.
Let me get
One
to
is-
page 6.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, under communications, right?
The last 2 bullets, sympathetic in the second to last. Representative Thomas stated he is sympathetic.
Mm-hmm.
And the next bullet, the last line is representatives. To be respectful.
Yeah. Yep, thank you.
So we have a motion on the floor. There see no other discussion. And it was put forth by Representative Shawn Powers, seconded by Representative Chase. And that is to approve the minutes as amended or with review, pending review of our March 10th meeting. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstention by Cup, I
That
was not
motion-
there.
Thank you. That motion carries 32 in favor, none opposed, 1 abstention. Thank you. The next part of this meeting is the citizens petitions, and this is the portion of the RTM agenda where the RTM welcomes comments by citizens. Each presentation should be limited to 4 minutes or less, and citizens should, if possible. Oh, Representative Adams, I see your hand up. Sorry.
Yes, Madam Moderator, I'm not sure whether this is proper or not, but considering the fact that Adam Pacino is not an official member of the RTM, shouldn't he be in attendees instead of panelists?
Sure, I guess. Town Clerk, Madam Clerk, what do you think on that? I did not elevate Mr.
Neither
Puccino.
did I. Let me see if I can find him. Because he should have, I mean, being an attendee would be the appropriate thing, but let me see if I can't find him. Oh, there he is. Let's see.
So Mr. Puccino is going to be sworn in, I understand, to fill a position in D1 after this meeting.
Not necessarily that they're just going to meet with him.
Oh, meet. Will be a caucus, excuse me.
And I have to, can you move him to attendee? Because I don't have that choice on here.
I did it, and it looks like I did it successfully.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Great.
There you are, Mr. Puccino.
Thank you, Madam Moderator.
Thank you, Representative Adams. All right, so let me continue with citizens petitions. Citizens should, if possible, submit written comments. Presentation should be limited to matters pertinent to Groton, and the moderator or members through me shall ask questions only in order to clarify the speaker's presentation. Responses may be given by the moderator or the town manager, who is not here tonight, so just me. Citizens should state their name and address for the record. Is there anyone who wishes to speak? All right.
I didn't have anyone sign up.
That's it. So seeing none, we'll pass on to the reception of communications. And I did receive communications from Representative Frickman, Hainline, and Perry that they would not be with us tonight. We also received the resignation of Representative Luck, and I wanted to thank her for her service on this body. And we did have a District 7 caucus prior to this meeting, and a new representative, Representative Kopp, has been elected or appointed to, is it an elected or appointed? Anyway, has been elected by the caucus.
It's an election per the charter.
Yeah, elected by the caucus to serve in that position. So thank you. Welcome aboard, Representative Kopp. So that's the main communications. I believe Representative Chase wanted to speak at this point, and also I did want to just mention I had reached out to several members who sit on committees on, and if I missed anyone, if you've been reached out to in the last 2 years to sit on a committee, or year and a half to sit on a committee on behalf of the RTM, it would be useful to receive an update, when after meetings or when there are activities of that committee, and the appropriate place would be during this communication period. So I will segue after Representative Chase speaks to that. Representative Chase?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I attended the town council meeting when the Board of Education presented their budget, and I spoke at the public hearing. And I just wanted to read that to this body so that they can keep things in mind when we are going through our budget deliberations. And then I have a couple other little tidbits about the school board. This is the public hearing statement. While I appreciate the fact that the Board of Education budget will not increase for FY22, I have concerns. The years prior to the Groton 2020 plan being approved by the voters, it was stated over and over there would be a great savings by closing schools, consolidating, and building new schools. The FY21 budget request was approximately $500,000 over what it was in FY20. It was not approved, but nevertheless, it was requested. Now the FY22 budget has no increase. Here is where my concerns lie. In order to have a 0% increase, a little over $800,000 of the budget is being supplemented by the Health Reserve Fund. This money has to be returned next year, from what I understand from being at the budget meetings. How is that going to happen? It originally was $1.5 million when the budget was being developed. The other reductions, are they temporary just to have a flat budget? They took those out of other line items. I work with budgets in my daily job, yet I have never heard of the term cost avoidance until Dr. Grenier used it regarding the budget. So I Googled it. It said cost avoidance is any action that avoids incurring of costs in the future. Okay, new schools, less maintenance for the immediate future, whereas cost savings, which is what we've been promised, is any action that results in a tangible benefit that lowers current spending. Remember, savings is what was told to us while promoting the Groton 2020 plan. So since the public was told there would be savings, where is it and how do we get it? The taxpayers have to pay back $184.5 million for the new schools if the entire amount is bonded. Hopefully they will come in under budget. We have 20 years to pay this all back. Yes, all of it. We all pay town, state, and federal taxes. We are paying all $184.5 million from one pocket or another, again, if it's all bonded. Each time a new bond is purchased, our taxes will be increased. The bonding is done as the building continues and more money is needed to pay expenses. We have already started paying back what has already been bonded. 1.38 mil increase just for the new schools that will increase with continued issuance of bonding until the project is complete. I understand taxes have to increase as expenses increase. However, we the taxpayers were promised savings for the school budget. Help me and the rest of the taxpayers understand where the cost avoidance and the savings are. I don't see it. And then I received this other document about the configuration of the schools. Back in 2000, there were 14 schools. 2015, there were 10 schools, and the proposed 2020 configuration is 8 schools. So how are we not saving money on it? I just don't understand it. And then the other item I wanted to bring up is that the town council approved, since the Groton Middle School came in under budget, they wanted to spend $825 million for lights for the sports fields. And I'm totally for that. I don't want you to get me wrong, but it's presented in the fact that because it was under budget, we have the money, and that is not the case. The lights are not considered an eligible expense for the school grant. The town will need to bond for this separately. So I just wanted everyone to keep that in mind. That's going to be a separate expense other than the school bonding. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Chase. I wanted to just mention, I just received a communication from Representative Katowski, and she will not be able to join us tonight. And I also received note from Town Manager Burt that he will not be joining us tonight. And he did send out his report ahead of time. Representative Fortner? And just remind people if they want to turn their video on when they speak.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. This is Representative Cindy Fortner. I am the chair of the Groton Beautification Committee, and we are going to be doing a spring cleanup on Saturday, the 24th of April. We're meeting at 10 o'clock at the Groton Public Library, and the Groton Public Works is going to provide everything for us, like bags and vests. We do need, everyone needs to sign a waiver, and I want everyone to wear a mask and wear their own gloves. And while I've got the floor, I just wanted to let you know what the Groton Beautification Committee is. We have a mission statement, and that is to enhance the appearance of our community through the addition of art and landscape projects that foster economic growth in Groton. There's been a lot of talk on Facebook platforms like About Trash. So we decided we would, a couple of years ago, Councilor Franco started doing a cleanup, spring cleanup in honor of Earth Day, and we didn't have one last year, but we're going to have one this year. So anyone who wants to come out, just we have a number of streets we're going to work on. We can't work on state roads, but we have another number of other streets, and then the park, the Public Works is going to pick up the trash bags, and you'll feel good that you will have helped clean up our town. So thank you so much.
Can you repeat the time and date and place again, please?
Oh, okay, yes. It's Saturday, April 24th, beginning at 10 a.m. at the Groton Public Library.
Thank you, Representative Fortner. That was very informative. Representative Washington?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I'd like to start off by thanking John Reiner and Deb Jones for the excellent tour that they gave us on the coastal access on April 6th. It was very informative, and it helped me personally see exactly what Mr. Fitzgerald was talking about in his email. So, and I'd like to thank Town Manager John Burt for putting that tour together. John Burke did say he was going to try to put another one together on a weekend or maybe a late Friday afternoon for the people that work, but it was an excellent tour. I serve on the DEI committee, and the Groton DEI Collaborative has partnered with Triangle Community Center to offer an LGBTQ training series. The trainings have been split into two groups, 101 sessions and 201 sessions. The trainings will be held virtually via Zoom and are 1.5 hours each. The goal of the trainings are to engage participants in a thorough overview of what it means to be LGBTQ, from terminology and definitions to rethinking traditional assumptions about gender and sexuality and creating community allies. Both the 101 and the 201 training sessions will be available to town employees, elected officials, and Groton community members. Spaces are limited to 25 people per session, so please register early. And I think the registration link is on the DEI website. I also serve on the DEI event subcommittee, and we are planning to have a food truck event on July 24th at Pequannock Plains. It's called Groton Eats Globally, and it's going to be held from 11 to 4. We're also going to have an open mic section where people can come up, and if you want to sing or play an instrument, you're welcome to do that. If you want to dance or do poetry. So it's sort of like what you have at coffee shops and cafes where, it's not planned. You could just drop by and do your thing. So that's going to be held on Saturday, July 24th at Pequannock Plains Park from 11 to 4, and it's going to be called Groton Eats Globally. And I also serve on the DEI Workforce and Leadership Subcommittee, and we had a tour of the town's Human Resource Department, and we're in the process of discussing workshop possibilities to update job descriptions, how to connect with outside community, how to recruit people, especially so we can get a diversified workforce. We're going to look at our policies and procedures. So the subcommittee meets every Wednesday, the first Wednesday of every month. So if you want to join and listen in, you can get the link from Lisa. And that's about it.
Thank you, Representative Washington. Let's see, Representative Casper, did you have an update on your Groton Long Point Committee? The Bridge Committee? Or?
Yes, I could give a short report.
Short is great.
I think the last meeting we had was February. There was no meeting in March that I was aware of. The next meeting is tomorrow night. At the last meeting, the base discussion was on the road. Because the bridge is higher, the approaches to the bridge have to be made higher. And on the Groton Long Point side, the first house, which is on the north side of the road, the first house, the road would be raised almost 3 feet in front of that house. And the adjacent house, almost the same, down to about 2 feet for the last house on, or the first house on the left, on the south side. And there was some discussion that would mean that regrading the driveways for those houses would be very steep. And so It seemed to be a bit of a quandary. The other discussion was on the sidewalk that would continue on the south side from the bridge all the way to the first street on the left. I think that's East Shore Drive or East Shore Groton Long Point, and that would come rather close to one of the houses in particular, who is built fairly close to the road. And that pretty much was the basic discussion. The height of the bridge has been determined. Again, this is all preliminary. And so that was briefly what was discussed at the last meeting.
Thank you, Representative Casper. Representative Powers, did you have an update? I realize you haven't met recently.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Yeah, I have a brief statement I'd like to make. The public property redevelopment of Pleasant Valley School, the staff and the review committee completed the review process, including a final response and site visits. The committee determined a recommended preferred developer. The discussions are ongoing with this developer, and the recommendations will be forwarded to the town council. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Powers. Let's see, are there any other representatives who wish to update on any kind of committee liaison? Representative Flax?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Just about the Athletic Fields Task Force. They're meeting this Thursday. There's a public question and answer. There's an event for it on Facebook. We're encouraging people who may have questions to join us at 7 o'clock tomorrow night for the meeting. And right now we are, we presented to the council and to the RTM, and there was a little pushback from the Groton advocates. And so there's a discussion on actions that we can do in organizing community support for recommendations. And that's what we've basically been talking about since you guys saw the presentation. So that's all.
Thank you so much. And any other members who wish to update us? Representative Starkley?
Yes, the affordable housing update. Oh, okay. So the town of Groton has hired the firm RKG to help us understand housing trends in Groton, where we stand with respect to affordable housing, and will give a public presentation via Zoom on Monday, April 19th, 2021 from 6 to 8 p.m. On March 25th of 2021, the Groton Steering Committee via Zoom was briefed on the initial report, which consisted of employment, and demographic trends for our area. According to RKG, Groton currently meets state affordable housing guidelines with respect to its housing inventory, but we can always do better. I believe Paquonic Bridge and the west side of Groton should be areas of focus for this type of an initiative. Again, the date of the next public meeting for affordable housing, which is on April 19th, 2021 from 6 to 8 p.m. Tabitha Harkin is the town's point of contact for more information on the subject.
Thank you, Representative Starkley. Are there any other members who wish to contribute any communications? Okay, seeing none, I guess we'll move on. There is, again, the town manager is not here tonight, but he did email his report, and I don't believe there is an economic development report. I don't believe Mr. Reiner's here. And Superintendent Austin also is not joining us, but I do have a update from Board of Education Chair Watson, who said that noted school is on spring break and many students are back for a 4-day school week. The school board has started working on lotteries for the magnet-themed elementary schools. On Monday, April 19th, 2021, the schools will welcome a new assistant superintendent, and the board will be introduced to him on Monday. The board is looking forward to partnering with the RTM on the 21-22 budget. And she also noted that we should be very proud of the 3 new school buildings that are opening or have opened. And so that's the report I have received, and I don't have any other information to answer questions, but hopefully we'll have someone from the Board of Ed at our next meeting. And I understand if there are questions, we might be able to rouse Chair Watson. But are there any questions? No. Seeing none, let's move to the liaison reports. And I just want to note that I am asking still for a Board of Education liaison from the RTM. Representative Fitzgerald stepped down several months ago, so if anyone is interested in Board of Ed issues, I find them very useful, these reports very useful, so please just let me know offline. And other than that, let's start with the Town Council. Representative Cassieri, do you have a update?
I do. Thank you, Madam Moderator. The Town Council met virtually for the regular monthly Town Council meeting on April 6th at 6:30. The Council held a public hearing for the Pleasant Valley School property public hearing. There were several citizens' petitions, mainly regarding the Mystic Oral School or the Mystic Education Center. The Council approved 2021-206-2 Data Center Host Municipality Fee Agreement. The Town Council authorized the town to enter into an agreement with Got Space. The Town Council authorized the town manager in consultation with the town attorney to execute the qualified data center host municipality fee agreement. The council also approved 2021-18-2, 2021 Chenecasset rates. The Golf Advisory Board and the Parks and Rec Commission have endorsed changes to the fees and membership rates for the golf course and recommend an increase in adult, associate, and associate plus memberships. 2021-1021 Southeastern Connecticut Regional Traffic Unit Mutual Police Assistance Compact was approved by the council. This authorizes the town to enter into the Southeastern Connecticut Regional Traffic Unit Mutual Police Assistant Compact with the towns of Ledyard and Stonington and the city of Groton. Also, the Town Council approved 2020-690-4 Groton Heights property. The Town Council authorized the sale of the former Groton Heights School and referred the sale to the RTM. 2021-1771 Neighborhood Assistance Act was passed by the Council. The Town of Groton has received proposals from Sacred Heart School, Oddfellows, Avery Cop House Museum, and Riverfront Children's Center for the 2021 Neighborhood Assistance Act. The Town of Groton Department of Planning and Development Services received a proposal from each of these entities to achieve tax credit savings on efficiency and energy conservation projects. Planning and Development supports all of these energy and efficiency conservation proposals. The Town Council set a public hearing for the 2021 Neighborhood Assistance Act for May 4th, 2021. Lastly, the Council passed 2021-187-1 Mystic Coastal Access Wayfinding Signage. This authorizes the allocation of $40,000 of capital reserved unassigned fund balance for FYE 2021 Capital Reserve Fund project entitled Mystic Coastal Access Wayfinding Signage. The Town of Groton has developed a coastal access signage program and wishes to improve the ability for residents, business owners, and tourists to utilize the coastal trail and access points in Mystic. The Town of Groton has received an allocation of $15,000 from the state of Connecticut for the implementation of the Mystic Coastal Access Wayfinding Program and wishes to contribute $25,000 from the town's capital reserve account towards the state of Connecticut's DEEP's allocation of funding for this project. An allocation of $40,000 from the Capital Reserve Fund unassigned fund balance is approved for FYE 2021 Planning and Economic Development Project 8G Mystic Coastal Access Wayfinding Signage. The next regular Town Council meeting is scheduled for May 4th. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Castieri. That was very informative. Representative Wells, did you have anything for the Golf Advisory Committee?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
a second here. Jump. There was a meeting on April 5th, and the March revenue report is included in the packet that was distributed for this meeting because they're super excited about their record fiscal year-to-date revenue. Total revenue is 22% greater than last year's, which was already a record number, and 62% greater than the prior four-year average. Annual memberships are increasing in all categories. They've enrolled 49 new, not renewing, but just new members, including 18 over the Easter weekend. The fiscal year-to-date memberships sold are exactly double the prior year's fiscal year memberships. The course now faces the unprecedented speculation of how many may be too many. Members have a 1-hour jump ahead of the public in scheduling tea times, and so far, all have been able to get times if they plan ahead, but it's starting to look very busy. A mailing will go out to the list they've collected via the online booking. We'll tout the flexible memberships and announce new rates for the season. Along with the revenue boom, we experienced a record increase in Facebook likes in the first quarter and now have 1,486 users who followed the course. The estimated $20,000 course for a consultant to prepare an application to place the course on the state and national historic preservation registers would likely be done as a CIP. A grant from the Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development would pay for half. There was uncertainty over how much a listing might help to market the course. The DCED, the Department of Economic and Community Development's interest extends beyond the clubhouse to economic development of the town and of the state. The course has published a best management practices based on a template from the state chapter of the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America. The stakeholder review team for this document is an impressive collection of analysts from the Department of Environment and Economic, the DEEP, Yukon-based experts, and our own golf course superintendent, Eric Morrison. Eric has tailored the over 200-page document to Shinnecock. It is about what we do, how, and why. I know some of you may be disappointed that he won't be giving an hours-long environmental presentation to the RTM, but the document will be available on the web and discusses stormwater runoff, pollinators, protection for the butterflies, pesticides, and with some expert input on this. In fact, might even be helpful for someone who's staring out at their own lawn and thinking, what's the best practice? And with the Tiger Woods boom long faded, the course has had difficulty recruiting younger players for the junior golf program. Also, speaking of recruiting, the board has 2 resident vacancies, as well as the perennial vacant non-resident position to be filled. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Wells. That was very useful. And I have to say that in the past, the RTM was given a tour of the golf course and some of the environmental practices that were conducted there. And it is very interesting. So I do recommend that. I'm sad that we aren't getting that lecture here. Let's see. Representative Rusk, do you have a report from the Economic Development Commission?
I don't have a report this month.
Thank you. Representative Chase was their liaison, Town Council, RTM, Board of Ed, City.
There was no meeting this month.
Okay. Thank you. Did I miss anyone? Representative Jones has kindly agreed to be on the Trails Coordinating Task Force, so we'll have that report.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. The Trails Committee met on March 18th, and they went through all the different trails that are connected here in Groton. So they talked about the Avalonia Trail, and they talked about the huge increase in number of people on these trails and how much they like it. They also talked about the dog owners don't seem to understand the concept of leave no trace. The COP property, Mark Berry talked about trail maintenance and adding new trailblazers. The Crosstown Trail, they are in discussion to put a new footbridge at the Cutler School project, because that's being built, and tie that in together. I think it's across the Fishtown Brook, but there's a bridge located off of Fishtown Road by the Merritt and Cutler schools to benefit the neighborhood and access for students. They estimate it'll be about 12 months for that. Groton Open Space, Joan Smith talked about that they weren't going to be advertising in the upcoming state directory for trails because of the traffic overflow. They're just trying to keep some of the traffic down a little bit. The GOSA is also very close to finally closing on the Sheep Farm property, Sheep Farm South property. They need 2 signatures, one from the Attorney General. Then the money will be able to flow into that, and it should take a couple months, and we'll have a great new piece of property for people to access here in Groton. There's also a request from GOSA that was presented to the Traffic Advisory Board on 2 crosswalks and blinking lights, one at the corner of Flanders and Route 1, and the other one on 215 to help with traffic, as so many people are crossing the highway. They're fixing some blue blazers on the trails. The town trails, Mark Berry talked about the new the trail that goes around the Catherine Konatsky School. Loops all the way around the school. It's a terrific trail, has cool boulders and small waterfalls, and I can attest to this. My wife and I went and walked on it shortly afterwards, and it's a great new trail here in Groton. Teachers at the Thames River and West Side schools are working with the students to tie a trail into the Birch Plain Creek. They need some permits. It's scheduled for this fall. They are looking to update the bike and pedestrian master plan. They're looking for a grant. Tom Olson talked about the CIP for the pedestrian pathway, connection between Birch Plain Creek Conservation Area and the Sparkle Lake Conservation Area. And they've also had discussions with Groton Utilities on opening up some of that property for the Tri-Town Trail. They've had quite a bit of interest in doing that. Mark Berry said a lot of positive things have been happening, and a recommendation was made to add a rep from Groton Utilities to the Trails Committee. That concluded, and the next meeting will be June 17th. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Jones. And I just want to echo that trail is great. I had the opportunity to take my students from UConn for a class, and we cut some invasives, and we had a lovely tour of the property of the trail with Sue Sutherland, and then our Eco Husky Club had a walk there the following Saturday. We got a little lost because it's not quite a loop, I would say. There's a bit of the trail where it does not connect, but we eventually did find our cars, so it was a happy ending. Thank you.
Yes, it's a beautiful trail.
Yes, great. I see another? No, I didn't see another hand. Anyway, that I believe concludes the liaison report, unless I missed someone. Could you just remind me? So that brings us to finance, or to our committee reports. I believe finance is noted, but I don't believe they had a meeting. Chair Washington, would you like to just clarify that they'll be discussing the school property sale on the 20th of April? Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So that is the business until we have budget discussions. And so I would just like to start out the budget discussion by asking all chairs, if you have not already, please talk to your committee members and schedule a meeting. The meeting should be after the town council has acted on those budget items, because you need to use the town council's budget numbers, not the town manager's. So ideal if you can break it up into 2 meetings, one for kind of a review of the accounts, and then another for action that occurs after the town council votes. But that's the preferable kind of schedule of meetings. So having said that, I will open up the floor if there are any members who wish to speak under this item K? Representative Chase?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I have attended all the town council meetings so far. There is a lot to be learned at these meetings. I urge everyone on the RTM to watch these meetings in order to gather as much information as possible. So when we hear each department's budget, we make an informed decision when we vote. Sometimes you hear things at the town council that you may not hear at the RTM. This is how I understand the process. When department heads submit their budget to the town manager, Mr. Burt sits down with each of them and goes through each cost center. So when the town manager's number coincides with the department's number, or for that matter, is lower than the department's number, it is not a willy-nilly decision on the town manager's part. It is a number that both the department and the town manager have come to an agreement on and can work with. Remember, a budget is just a forecast of monies needed to run a department in the coming year. No one can know exactly what is needed in the future. Sometimes not as much will be needed and that money will stay in the fund balance. Sometimes more is needed because of something that occurred during the year that was unforeseen, and that particular account will need more. That's why we do fourth quarter transfers that will probably come to the RTM at the May meeting. No outside agencies came to talk about their budgets on the day the town council went through their requests. The counselors had questions that needed to be answered. Mr. Burt said they were not notified to come. Every year since I have been on the RTM, they have attended on the day their budget was in front of the town council and the RTM, including last year at the height of COVID. At the very least, they should have known. I would like to say, remember, charity begins at home. I asked the town council to think long and hard about increasing the town manager's budget for outside agencies, no matter how deserving you think they are, if you cut any town departments. And by increase, I mean above the town manager's number. Please read each department's budget and come prepared to ask very thoughtful questions. That is what the RTM is elected to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Chase. Is there any other representatives who wish to speak on this item? Is there any other business that members wish to bring up? Madam Clerk?
Thank you. I just want to remind anyone who has not picked up their budget book to contact my office. If you can't get there during the workday or send someone there during our office hours, get in touch with me and I'll arrange something over the weekend. It's not a problem. My priority is that you get your budget books. I think the chairs that have organized their budget meetings, I know how difficult it is waiting for the council to finish. You kind of start, you go, you start, you go. But we'll get through this, and I look forward to helping everyone.
Thank you. So that is the last item on our agenda. Seeing no more hands or discussion, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Representative Rusk, I move we adjourn.
Seconded. Representative Rusk made a motion to adjourn. I believe it was seconded by Representative Casper. There were a few people who said something at the same time. Sorry. All in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? That motion carries unanimously. I will see you all next, actually, the next meeting. Madam Clerk, is the 29th, is that correct? It's a Thursday?
That's the annual meeting?
Yes.
Thursday?
Okay, so that will be the next meeting of this body. And I personally am going to try to make as many committee meetings as I can, but anyway, thank you. So
Madam Moderator, that meeting that you are mentioning, that is not a regular RTM meeting. That is the annual meeting, which is budget only.
Right.
The next regular meeting is May 12th.
Right. I was going to meet with my RTM peers at that meeting, and it would be before the regular May meeting. So thank you. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me or the town clerk, and we can hopefully answer those. And have a great 2 weeks. And I will see you on the 29th.